All right. Hello.
What's up?
Welcome. We're live. Every week, I'm like, I see the Flatten the Curve logo, and I'm like, I'm gonna put up the new logo, and then every week I don't. So, but check this out. For all you guys out there, Albert is seeing this real time, and we can fancy up the graphics a little bit. But boom, we can actually bring in programming. That sucks because it's super zoomed out. But we could actually bring that in there and bring up our different program and stuff like that and actually talk about it specifically. So just some ideas in the future.
It's okay. It's day one. We'll edit those pictures.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice and beautiful.
We'll finish that part afterward.
All of our viewers to see. And speaking of all of our viewers, I'm not going to say like and subscribe because there's no one on here to like and subscribe.
Well, maybe when they watch it back, like and subscribe. Actually, probably not because I was watching the stuff on like analytics for people that are trying to get into YouTube and like the different stuff. And they were saying that you have about a 5 to 10 second hook window when you start your content for it to like, within that 5 to 10 second window, if it's not like intriguing, people don't watch it. I would say that our last one got in front of quite a few people, and there was like a good like 17% that hung in there through the whole entire thing.
People like us.
So, but for you and I, we know it's just about getting the reps in and not about the following count. So,
did you know that there's also a window for YouTube to like pull your content? It's like I think it's like a 5 to 10 minute window of you. Like you got to be like pretty clean, and then if you do anything crazy,
really?
They'll pull it.
Or interesting, like if I was in the nude.
Yeah, explicit content they don't want people to see. The chances of it after increase.
Interesting.
The comedians podcast that I listen to, they're like, hey, take it easy. The producers are like, take it easy. Like it's only been 2 minutes. You're gonna get us pulled again.
Yeah, they'll pull the content before you even start.
But it's like a 2 hour podcast. So,
all right. So, what do you want to get into today? We didn't really have any topics on the line. We could go a little off the Richter here and talk about that new app Clubhouse for just a moment. Have you been playing with it at all?
I was listening to one this morning. It had Tom Green.
Interesting.
He's a Canadian comedian. He used to have the Tom Green Show on MTV.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah.
So for those of you guys that don't know or haven't heard of it yet, Clubhouse, we got our Flatten the Curve logo, we'll pull that too. Clubhouse is a new app that's really picked up momentum, I would say, probably over the last like 6 months, really. About a couple weeks ago, I don't even know if it's been a month, but like a couple weeks ago, you could only get on the app if you're like invited on the app. So you can kind of go sign up and then just wait because it'll hold your username. But until somebody like verifies or vouches for you and lets you into the app, it won't, you can't just sign up for it. So there's a little bit of exclusivity to it. Also, the interesting thing about this is it's all voice. So the only photo is just your profile picture. The whole way you communicate inside there is you go down the hallway, which is like a normal scroll. So you could scroll through it and you could see all the different rooms that are set up in there. And you could go into a room and there's people that are on stage. Those are the speakers. There's usually some sort of topic of discussion for you to enter the room. And then you could just listen. And so it's kind of like a podcast app.
Yeah, sometimes there's like 1,000 people, like 10,000 people in a room.
Yeah. Wow. You've seen it get up to that much?
Oh, I usually see some in the thousands. I don't know about 10,000. Yeah. That's way too high.
I've only seen it. The most I've seen in a room, I think was like 5,600. And it was in like some like millionaires' habits. And there was like a bunch of like big named, business people like Grant Cardone, Tyler Lopez, those types in there, and a bunch of venture capitalists. But it's a pretty interesting app. I would have to say that the app takes a ton of effort though, which I realized because I mean, if it takes a lot of attention. So have you spoken on the app yet?
No, but what I was just thinking is we should just open up Clubhouse right now and let it talk.
Yeah,
me and you in a room.
Yeah, you can go for it. Start a room and call it "Shooting the Fit." Anything and all fitness, and see who wants to jump in and see
people to jump into the room.
Why not? Why not just get weird for a moment?
I had somebody on my Instagram story ask if anybody was on Clubhouse, so I just dropped my username on there.
Nice.
I got a follow, and I think I got one random follow based on another weightlifter, strength conditioning type coach.
Cool.
Yeah.
How many followers do you have right now?
7.
Nice.
4. Let me just cut it by half. Sorry.
7, 4. That's all
Four.
right.
Yeah.
That's all right.
But it's okay. I got invited by a
That's
friend. You did tell me to hop on there.
Yeah, which then alerted.
I've talked to a couple people about it to see if they like knew what was going on, but other than that, you are one of my 4 friends, followers on Clubhouse. So
well, I will say
we have a listener. Hey, are you on Clubhouse?
Yeah. If you're watching the YouTube thing and you know about the app Clubhouse, put a thumbs up in the comment section and let us know. We'll throw your comment up on there. So I think it'll be rather useful, because if you were on the app and you and I wanted to go in there and have a discussion or incorporate multiple people from all over the world, you could easily all hop in that room together and discuss something as if you were at a meeting at the same table. But it's just versatile, because I could jump from that to something more entertaining to, so I think the app has a lot of potential.
So I haven't started a room. I just started one right now.
Oh, are you on it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You've started one. You said you've had some success on it. Spoken to
so
a couple people.
I haven't started my own room yet, but I've jumped in. I've spoken at a few of them, which helps with good following. So I have 28 followers. Go figure.
7 times more than I have. That's why I said 7, because you got 7
times.
That's what
you intuitively knew I was going to go 7 times more.
I'm a numbers guy.
But
not really.
What did you title your room?
I didn't know you can title it.
Yeah, so if you go on there, there's a couple options. I guess this turned into a comprehensive review of Clubhouse all of a sudden. But if you go in there, you could add a topic of discussion to your room, and then you could also decide. Oh, yep, here it is. Just ping. You can also just decide what the name is as well. Okay, well, I don't know if this is gonna work.
Just turn your volume on.
Oh.
Or I can mute you.
We're high tech here on Clubhouse.
Welcome to Shoot and Fit Podcast, where we are talking about podcasts today.
I will stay in the app, but I will stay muted, because otherwise they're just going to get reverb with me going back and forth. You can be the speaker. So yeah, anyhow, this is now a comprehensive review of Clubhouse. So you go on there and you could start these rooms, and it lets you know people are speaking, and you could be a moderator, and and
I think it's
raise
cool.
your hand to enter it. So you could it doesn't like you take your volume all the way down. You could raise your hand to enter conversations and different stuff. But it's about networking. You could ping people to be into a private room or different stuff like that.
I do like it a lot, because the only thing is, if you can't manage the people that you're following, and managed by mean like the notifications that you're getting, you're going to get a lot of notifications on rooms that you do not give a crap about.
I think what you could do to like fix that is just by what I did is you just go into your things and you could just say like never send notifications, and then it won't send you notifications unless you could like personalize it. And then so I go to individual people who I'd be interested in, and then I could say always send me the notification, and it significantly reduced the amount of like I don't get any notifications from Clubhouse now. And then when I do, you're like, oh, cool. That one needs on.
It's the one that you.
Yeah.
Who's the one that you have on there that was like, oh, that's a no-brainer. I'm gonna like have his notifications on.
I mean, my people are kind of boring because it's all like business people. So I have like Elon Musk, like Lex Fried, which he's not really a business, but he runs a podcast that I like.
Yeah, he's one of the people that I follow. I think it came up in the suggestions. So.
Yeah, and then pretty much anybody who's major in the fitness industry, just because I know this app is new and I know it's a land grab a little bit now. So if you're in there and you're kind of in the scene early on, and you could make friends with some people that already have a following.
Yeah.
So I went in and turned on anybody who already had a following in the fitness industry. So like Jason Khalipa, his right hand man MBB, Mark Bell.
It does make it very personal, because everybody's speaking, and then if you're in a it's pretty much having a conversation with a phone call with somebody.
Yeah.
But somebody that you can't necessarily get in contact with a phone number.
Right. Or you could just drop in on somebody else's conversation. So how cool is a conversation about entrepreneurship with Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, right? And so they jump on there and start having a conversation about business, and you just get to be a fly on the wall in that room. You don't get to interact, you don't get to talk at all, but you could just sit there and listen.
Yeah.
And so that's what's really cool. I also like the idea of really long formatted conversations.
Okay.
Not to go too crazy about this, but I think that politics is at a place now where we're over the small sound bites. And I think if we're really going to be electing these leaders, and we know how much influence, especially here in California, they have on our lives, to sit there and listen to a 2-hour debate about one singular topic is something that I think is really needed to kind of untangle this political divide that we've gotten ourselves into, because the little sound snippet bites that are being perpetuated by the media so that way they can get their advertisements and their money is not inclusive of like actual conversation and debate. And so I think it'll help with that because it's all about long form. So anyhow,
I think any form of conversation, whether it's, like this chat room or this podcast, even like where you and I just are able to talk for a little bit, and like it seems to be about fitness, and that's like the kind of industry that we're in. But just any long form conversation, whether it's good or bad, it's going to be beneficial.
Yeah, I think so, because you can't just have hot takes, as they're referred to, and make anything tangible off that.
Although they do make good content.
Yeah, so I dropped out of your room, but I still think you should keep yours open because I just couldn't hear the echo of me talking anymore. It was driving me insane, so I just dropped out of the room.
I could put in AirPods.
No, yours is good. Yours is perfect. It was just mine. It wouldn't let me turn it down all the way because I was like, I'm the moderator there.
You're a part of this room too. You're just a secret.
Yeah. So shout out to our story sponsor, coffee, but not actually. Yeah. So anyhow, I think the app has like a big possibility. It's been really cool. It started the fitness space. A lot of the people in there are pretty like they might have some good followings and stuff like that, but I would say it's a lot of personal trainers in there right now.
Yeah.
I've jumped into quite a few of the rooms. I'll go on for like a half hour at a time and jump on. And usually if you're in a smaller room, they'll invite you on stage to speak if you kind of hang in there and listen for long enough. And then whatever the topic is, I'll just jump on and kind of give my 2 cents. Or if they ask me like, hey, do you have a question or something? Twice I've brought up about like stuff about running a gym or kind of the nuts and bolts of the marketing or different things behind that, and crickets on the feedback because none of them like own gyms or anything. So, and to their defense, it was usually, whatever, just said open to fitness, and the conversation just moves towards the, business of fitness because a lot of them are trying to make a living off of it as well. So anyhow, that was something that was interesting to me. I've also jumped into a room with this guy that did he was something with like biology or whatever, but he was breaking down a ton of stuff, and I got a ton of interesting things out of that. So I actually learned a lot from that conversation.
Got a nice bio lesson.
Yeah, a nice movement bio lesson.
Movement.
Well, it was about how restrictions are all electrical signal restrictions. That the body will actually move the way it is. The only thing that's holding those tight spots or limiting your range of motion is actually the feedback it's giving you from your nervous system. So since they're all essentially electrical problems, unless of course you've been like hit by a bus and stitched together, right? Since they're all electrical problems, like what ways can you short circuit that by making the electrical signals fire differently? So
kind of like if you put it like a E-stem pad, a TENS unit on?
No, like if you squat and then you look as hard as you can to the right, you'll actually change the depth and different restriction over time because the neural optical whatever, like looking to the side. And now, for the record, this could have been a complete bullshit by this guy too. But anyhow, it was
just what you got from the conversation.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
So to his effect, he said, "Yeah, just don't like take my word on it. Just try it." He goes, "Watch a client, like have them do a couple squats, and have them do a couple squats looking all the way to the left.
Like a distraction.
Have them do a couple squats, but not moving their head, only their eyes. Have them doing a couple squats, looking to the right, and then have them doing a couple squats with their mouth open. Have them doing squats with their mouth closed." And I guess you could call it like it's a distraction, but in such a minute way that you're not actually like, all you're doing is changing the programming. You're making the computer do 2 things at once rather than just the one thing at a time, and how that changes the mobility. So I don't know, take it for what you will, listeners. That's definitely not my scope there, but I just found it really interesting because I do know with a lot of the stuff that we do with the foam roller and different things like that, as we apply pressure to those muscles that are staying in that contracted state, or like our muscle knots, and then blood flow and everything gets to it with some proper breathing and stuff, it'll kind of release and let go. And we do know that there is stuff that's happening as far as like the nervous system that's a play in there, and then that's letting go, and then that's also kind of allowing full range of motion again. So
the body's crazy.
Take it for what you will. Yeah, we don't really. Who are we to say? You know, he wasn't selling anything because usually if they're selling something, you remember the bracelet, like the balance bracelet?
Yes, they sell it in the mall.
Sell
and
it in
they'd
the
be
mall.
like, put your hand out, and then they push it down, and then like, all right, put on
a
this bracelet.
Yeah.
Now put your hand out. So you're like, see,
your balance. They're like, no, you just pushed less.
It was like a bunch of baseball players had the necklace too.
Oh, right.
You see a bunch of MLB guys, so like all the kids that played baseball, like
always
middle school, high school, just want to be decked out like the MLB players.
Dude, I'm telling you. So it's kind of funny because I'm doing some movement screening with the firefighters that I'm working with, and we do like a scapula test where we have them on all fours. They kind of reach their arm out to the side, and I'll apply a little pressure to see if they can stay contracted, and then we'll have them do it with like the Y. And most of them, unless you're working your shoulders and you're doing stuff with bands, you failed that test because there's no, there's no contraction or stability in your scapula. Yeah. And so it's funny because whenever we do that one, I always joke afterwards, and I'm like, all right, so let me just grab my bracelets. And when you guys try this again, and by that point, we're already pretty far in the movement screening. So they're already kind of like interested and intrigued. The stuff I'm showing them is already adding some value. So they're like, okay, yeah. And then when I'm like, the bracelet, they kind of looked at me funny. And I always make the joke too, because like, they're always like, yeah, the chiropractor did this, and I thought it was BS. And I'm like, it probably was BS. But the thing is I've already got paid by the city, so I'm not trying to sell you 20 sessions after this. So you guys can rest assured
you guys already got me here.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been paid for, and it's been paid for ahead of time.
It's all good.
But yeah, about those bracelets, I will sell you these bracelets.
Yeah, so
that's a good
it's an icebreaker.
Yeah,
and it's funny, but working with those guys is good because obviously they need that movement and everything else like for their job and to be able to perform it at the highest level, and then also to be able to do it, pain free, which helps with their kind of quality of life.
That kind of comes into a topic. I just got a follow on Instagram from like it says Firefighter Fitness or something like that. But they could probably use a little bit of your help in programming. They had some friendly exercise on there. They did some partner bicep curls where like you have a partner like do your resistance on the way up and down, so it's like constant.
Okay.
But that was about the only good exercise that I saw.
Oh,
it was very bodybuilding. Okay. Not what. Not on brand with what you were going for, where it's functional in order to do well at your job or do better at your job.
This is just bodybuilding.
Yeah, it was interesting.
I don't know whatever.
Probably not.
You are alive. So
ideal
with your confidential activity stuff. You can pause and zoom, bro. Don't forget.
It's okay.
Are out there.
I got no secrets.
Yeah, that's how I felt about it.
They're gonna see all 500 of my least active followers that did not comment on my story. By the way,
whack.
Have no questions about fitness.
Nobody's got questions about.
You guys are all perfect. Huh? Nobody's perfect. Okay?
Just turn around and then we get hella defensive and just start like making fun of people. So you guys don't like the show? We don't like you.
Yeah,
we don't like you.
Firefighter.strength. They have 576 followers, more followers than I have. For you guys out there that want to follow some,
and that's 576 just as is, not 1,000.
Yeah. Just
okay, I'm already over it.
What we call
like a boy chest. I'm not into that.
Bro reps that aren't gonna, maybe you're not fighting very big fires. I'm sorry.
Well, I think a lot of people kind of see that as a niche because it's always easy to follow a program that's provided for you. So like as far as what I've known from the little bit of time that I've been working with them, like a lot of the guys are kind of like, yeah, I mean, we're not really that sure what to do. Yeah. And then the guys that are sure what to do, like have their set program in or into it. So you find this kind of back and forth where like, I just kind of follow what he does, or like, I just come out here and do whatever, my own thing. So I think by slapping the word firefighter on it, people gravitate to it towards it. They're like, oh, okay, well, if this is a firefighter, he must be doing this to get better at his job. As opposed to, so that gives some sort of validity there. But the idea is that once you have a program that does make sense and you get a bunch of them following it, then you could actually start to brand off that quite a bit. Yeah. And I don't know if there's been anybody super successful in that space. I mean, obviously not enough for us, not enough brand awareness for you and I to know about it.
So. I feel like
I don't know, but
Like whether
I'm
it's
sure
a
there's something.
firefighter or somebody that works at a desk job or an office job,
Yeah.
that's your job first, and fitness comes probably second.
Or not at all.
Or not at all. So just not having the right idea on where to take your fitness or how to program your fitness.
Yeah.
So this just so happens to be firefighters, and you work with firefighters who, you know, like use their body all the time in order to do their job well. And regardless if you have an office job or you're a firefighter, you should probably take into better consideration.
Yeah, well, that's why I consider like
choice.
the gym is too, because I was telling a lot of the guys from Hayward Fire, and like I don't know if you saw it on our software that we use there, but there's actually a Hayward Firefighter program like line in there now. So those guys will also start coming into there. You'll see their workouts, and their workouts will basically be the same as our workouts, with just a few minor tweaks here and there because they don't have the eye of a coach on them, and a lot of them aren't familiar with some of the movements. So like basically, you know, anything that's going to be too complex, we just keep it simple as far as their lifts go, like, you know, pull, press, squat. And then we kind of just have all those like what I call grunt work movements. So it's nothing too special. But I would say a couple of the guys that are at specifically Hayward Fire have been to the CrossFit Games. So this is also an unusual
high level.
Yeah, this is an unusual group too because there's some really high level of fitness in there. So when you talk to a couple of the guys and you're like, what's your programming or like what's your workout? He's like, well, what my program got me to the CrossFit Games. You're like, well, there's not much in dispute that you know what you're doing there.
Have you had anybody be like, hey, that wasn't hard enough yet?
No, because right now and going back to that point of like why programs stick and some don't, I actually haven't done. I mean, I've done workouts with them. But my job isn't to really provide them with workouts or straight job. My job is to get them to be able to move as well as they can in those workouts. Now we'll get some specific workouts with like benchmark workouts as far as like testing their aerobic capacity, testing different, you know, outputs, and also testing different, not strength things, but the ability to hold tension in different positions. But yeah, that's the unique thing about it. So it's funny because when a lot of I show up, because some of these guys I've met before, some of these guys I haven't. And when I show up, they're like, okay, so what's the workout? And they're kind of skeptical about it. I'm like, actually, it's a movement screen test. We're about to like test your ankle range of motion. They're kind of like, whoa, what?
That's a way better way to, you know, look at establishing your fitness versus your movement.
Exactly.
You kind of have to do that. Anytime you even start exercise, like what are you moving like?
Absolutely. Yeah, because anybody can come up with a program. Anybody can find one online. But unless you know that number one, you're moving correctly, so that way you're doing what you're supposed to prevent injury, not making yourself more at risk for it. And then on top of that, how do you know that the workouts that are being written have some sort of intent to move you forward in some sort of manner? Which brings us back to, we were talking about before, but maybe we'll make it our discussion topic like next week, or possibly even get a double feature. I feel like if we did a Friday afternoon, I don't know. We should get one where we get some more time for the members to get on because it's fun with the feedback. But having that discussion of programming, like periodization versus GPP, that would be a perfect example because you can kind of go from an athlete standpoint, which is what makes you know, Matt Fraser's programming somewhat unique, is that he periodized for the games, versus like the program that I have to do with the firefighters, where they just need to be at a high level of fitness all the time for their job, and like the differences in that programming. Maybe that'll be a good topic. Good topic for next time.
I'm always down to talk about programming. I know you and I. That's a conversation that we have at least a couple times a month.
Are you still on that Clubhouse app?
Good call. Yeah, it's still recording.
Do you have anybody in there?
No.
Cool. So it's,
remember, Matt is only one of my 4 friends.
Well, we have to. Okay, so we should just go to Fitness Hangout. Oh, Sarah Wright. Do you know her? She's a weightlifter. No. She's been on Clubhouse quite a bit. She's really active on Clubhouse.
All right.
She's cool too. But
I'm gonna end this room. Thank you for all that tuned in. This isn't
well, it's kind of the end of the podcast too. I don't know unless you have anything else you want to go on. We kind of relied too heavily on the questions in our Instagram, and we got 0 feedback. And so here we are.
I waited. I did it like 12 hours early too.
I know, you were on top of it. But I have the studio all set up. We're ready to go.
It's okay. There's always next week, or We're gonna do a double feature on Friday.
I think we do a double feature on Friday. I think we try to hype it a little bit. I don't know. I think we could we might even have to just go for like a. I think there's only 2 options: an evening or a morning.
Okay.
Like we do like a 7 a.m. or like.
Ooh, like super early.
Yeah.
Like, all right, like this is the before 8 a.m. podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I mean.
So we'll have to see. I don't know. Maybe make that one of your stories. We'll see if we get feedback on that.
Do you like
what time should we do a live podcast? Okay. Should it be morning or evening? Yeah, and then we could go from there.
Have you been taking creatine still?
No, I stopped a couple weeks. I went for 6 weeks on and then stopped to have it gone back on.
Yeah.
And now that I'm eating no refined like carbohydrates and like 0 sugar because I'm rolling with the challenge, I've already lost. I'm already down like 3 pounds. It's like
hop on that creatine for these next 4 weeks.
The last 4 weeks. We're in week. We just started week 3 right now. Okay. So yeah, I will. That's a good idea.
And then last 4. See how much. That's a good water you put back on.
Well, I've been how much more water I retain.
Yeah.
But I have been upping my protein because I noticed I started to notice a pattern, which is like a dumb moment. But when I got super tired or lethargic, kind of that middle of the day, on the days that I start work at 5:30 a.m. Well, I'm here a little bit before 5:30 a.m. Mm-hmm. So when 2:30 hits, I'm already like 8-9 hours into my day. Yeah. And so I started to realize that if I just stick to a ton of like veggies, but a bunch of like meat, like a bunch of protein or like fish, mm-hmm. like a big like pile of it, and
sustainable like more than 4 ounces.
Yes, exactly.
Probably like 8 ounces, 10 ounces.
Yeah, and eat a bunch of that right around that time. I get way less tired than I normally do. Like I'll still feel it a little bit, and I was throwing a bunch of white rice on that before, and then after that it was like curtains. It's good night. And I was dragging to get myself back in.
We've talked about this before. Yeah. When Matt eats white rice, he gets very sleepy.
I do. It's a thing. I don't know. I mean, it depends. If I have and that's the thing. I way overeat white rice. To Grace's point that she was talking about, because I'll just have a little scoop, and then I'll eat some of it. And I'm like, oh, well, that was like nothing. Yeah. And then I'll have like another scoop, and then
for those of you out there, Matt can have as much rice as he wants. The way he finishes his workouts, I tell him he works out the hardest all the time. That's why he takes so long to recover, and probably because he doesn't eat enough rice.
I just make it look the most dramatic, like floating around. No, it does take me a while to recover, probably because I need to get more rice in my life.
You got to get more rice in your life.
All right, well that's about our 30-minute mark. But yeah, let's do another one. Let's do another one this week. I think that would be fun. We could go like morning or evening. And do it on like maybe Thursday or something like that. Less threatening day.
Do you guys want to see us do a live podcast where we watch one of the classes go on and then we just comment on the people in the class? Dude, we don't have to name names.
No, what we could do is you could get a GoPro out there and then just have it muted, and then from here we could toggle back and forth from like in there, but we could be in here.
Yes,
we could advance. We could advance this a little bit. Like what I was doing from before is I could come into here. Now at this point, this is just digressed into me showing you stuff. But that's fine. Where is it? Oh, it's not gonna open.
We're testing features on the new streaming platform that we have.
Yeah. So anyhow, I could upload other videos and it loads them into here.
Okay.
Or drop us out of the screen. I could swap it out for.
Oh, okay, it's still on there.
Okay, we're still rolling. Oh, dude, just walk around yelling at people. Hey, Mike Biela's on. He was every
Yeah, Mike. What's up, man? I was checking out your guys' podcast over the weekend.
Oh yeah, I watched part of their 100 episode too live. Yeah. Did you see it on Saturday night?
Yes,
yeah,
I did.
I jumped on. I tuned on a little bit. I said, "What's up? Congratulations on 100 episodes. That's huge.
Awesome.
I mean, we're on only episode 29.
Yeah,
that's like 71 more. That's awesome. Good for you guys.
If we double up each week, we can make it to 100.
Yeah. If we did double up each week, I mean, we could do that. I don't know. It's always kind of interesting as far as like garnishing an audience, right? Because like frequency helps, but like, how much versus like the time spent. Yeah. Well, also too, I think getting some guests would help out. Who should we get on first? We could definitely get Wes on because he would probably come on.
We're gonna get Body by Bobby on here.
You said last time you got to reach out.
You told me to hold off.
Did I? I probably
out.
did. That sounds like something I'd say. It's probably because I got nervous. You're like, wait, not yet. I was like, do it. You pick up, like, don't do it. We got to get the third mic. Don't do it. He won't. I'm going to say, you know what's funny? Because as far as like the third mic, that only counts for the podcast on Spotify or
GarageBand.
Apple. Yeah, GarageBand. Because really we're just running the mic out of that over there because we can't. Yeah, because my engineering skills
swing it around like that.
Low.
Okay, yeah. So what was that, Wes?
We
both go at the same time.
Yeah. Boom, pull it in, pull it back out, pull it in, pull it back out. Well, you see what we do, how I did it with like Grace and I just pulled that condenser mic like into the middle of us on the boom, and like that worked well enough, I would say. I actually have watched back a few of them and they seem to be fun.
This one picks up pretty well, especially you.
Yeah, I mean, I think our first 3 episodes we were only off your condenser.
Yeah,
and mine was
we didn't know what to do.
I still don't know what to do, really.
With the soundboard. But now we got these fancy apps. We can drop in questions.
Yeah.
Drop in video. Stand by. We're going to have commercials soon.
I mean,
we don't know what to talk about anymore. We're just going to insert a commercial.
Cut to commercial. Okay.
Probably the worst thing that happened to Joe Rogan moving on Spotify is that they put commercials on his podcast.
Oh, did they?
Like 4 2-minute long commercials in the beginning, and then if it's a long enough one, like 2 or 3 in the middle.
Oh man,
it's terrible.
Bummer town.
I got that fucking.
My guy, I went out to Treasure Island Comics and grabbed some comics for my dad for his birthday. And the guy that was on the podcast, I forgot his name. But anyhow, I had mentioned that I came in from the Comic Bookies podcast and let him know that I was here because of that. He's a sponsor of the show. So there you go. There's ROI. Tangible ROI.
Let's end it there.
Yeah. All right,
Should
perfect.
We bring up some statistics, or are we just going to pass on statistics?
No, let's pass on statistics. I think we went, like, if anybody makes past the clubhouse part, I'll be surprised. But this is what we do. We just keep the reps going.
Mike, get on Clubhouse.
We have some fun. Yeah, and if you need an invite, I'll let you play. I got 4 because I speak on things.
I got 2.
Speak on it. We'll jump on Clubhouse now and see if we get on there. Okay, adios, guys. Goodbye.
Rise up your life.